I'm a big fan of Vegas Matt and his crew. I like watching their gambling videos. I enjoy watching their interviews occasionally and all the Vegas Matt things. Really big fan of WEG. Guy seems like a total sweetheart. So saw this. How people actually beat casinos. And WBG sitting right there. Let's see what these guys have to say about beating casinos.
A true edge. Like they say in roulette, when you spin it, maybe if the table's a little crooked, it could be landing on something more often or something to that degree.
Do you want me to talk about the roulette one, or?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. You should do a podcast someday when, I don't know when, like, and just have him tell you everything he knows, and it would probably be the most viewed podcast in gambling history. So tell us a roulette story. He's got one on everything.
No, I know. I have been involved with. I mean, yes, you can. There's not a. The thing is there's not a game in the casino that you can't beat. It doesn't matter what the game is under the right circumstances. I mean, that doesn't mean that exists at every, like, you can't just walk up to every single table and there's an edge, but there's every single game, there's a circumstance where the tables can be turned.
We love that. Every single game, there's an edge.
How, so then on, like, were you listening earlier to ask about the Baccarat thing and the guy that claims he has an edge on Baccarat and he'll give it away for $20 million?
Who is that?
So, like,
Mickey Mantle?
How could you beat Baccarat?
It's not Mickey Mantle. It's the guy with all the tattoos on his face. He has one face. It's the guy with all the tattoos on his face. Who is that? Gambler Mickey Mays. There we go. Yeah, Mickey Mays. This guy, Mickey Mays.
Well, first of all, that's not true. He's just saying that.
It wouldn't be worth $20 million, because if you could beat it, you get kicked out before you could win $20 million. So no one would buy it.
And I think people who claim to have systems they're just charlatans. It's like people who claim that they can beat sports, for instance. It's very, very difficult because there's so much money and so many smart people betting into those markets that you're going to have an equilibrium price. And the people who say that, oh, I have an edge, they're just selling picks to both sides.
So give us a little nugget.
Okay.
Baccarat, you said there is a circumstance, can you give us an example of when a Baccarat game could have been beat?
I mean, there are side bets that are countable, like blackjack, that you could beat a side bet.
So like you would count a 12-deck shoe down, and then you know that like all the nines are gone, and then this makes the big tiger more likely, or something like that.
Like one of the side bets could, like when there's no more face cards, for instance, there could be an advantage on one of the, like a tie.
Or if
I'm not saying that that's the actual circumstance, but circumstances.
It's not huge though.
God forbid you give a specific.
No, because I mean I don't know it by rote.
But or also, is it something like when some dealers do something wrong, and when the card comes out of a shoe, if you're sitting in a certain place, you could
You're talking about hole carding.
You could see the card or something.
Not on Baccarat, but okay. I mean, I guess if you could, like, if you knew the first card on Baccarat, you could gain an edge. Like if you knew it was a 9 and it was going to the player, of course you would bet player.
Mm-hmm. So then you said roulette. Your eyes lit up a little bit. And can you think of an example when roulette was beatable, or like that you beat roulette?
I know people. Yeah, like I know people who have found situations where things replicated often enough, like you were saying, like the table was tilted, like they knew that it was going to go around 3 times, and if it goes around 3 times, it's going to land in a quadrant, so they could just bet the quadrant. And
so they literally wait to see how fast the spin is to bet.
Yeah, exactly.
Interesting.
Yeah. Because it's a physical element. It's a physical thing. So if you roll a bowling ball down the alley the exact same way every time, you're going to knock over the same number of pins. I mean, on average.
I want to ask him more questions. Very rarely does he answer.
I think also all of that stuff is so hard and the opportunities are so rare, and it's really not what we do. We're just aware of it, and it's a fun thing to talk about.
But I think that they do kind of do it. They do it. They do it with slots. Like they play majority is slots, and what they do, I think, when the opportunity presents itself, exactly what WEG is kind of saying, is when the opportunity presents itself, they choose the slots that have a maxed out progressive, or when the progressive bar is full up, right? And it's about to pop. It's seemingly about to pop. Mainly, I think like the progressives, like if the grand is like maxes out at 100 grand, and they see a machine that says the grand is now 100 grand, like, you know, those things move occasionally. It might reset down to like 75 grand, and they see it's really close or it's at 100,000. They tend to play it. There's also like they play I think it's called Buffalo Link, and I do this one. There's a little counter that says the bonus must be hit in this certain amount of times. A buffalo is going to show, and they will take advantage of that machine.
How interested you guys have been. And I find it fascinating.
Yeah, it's not what we do at all. Like we
go gamble.
No casino cares if we come in and play Huff and Puff and Dragon Link. They're like, welcome to the casino.
Yeah, the thing is, we know about it. We don't do it. We don't actively participate in it. But I think this is how maybe how all this might have happened, is because when I met Matt, like, he knew that I had some knowledge about these things,
Just a tiny.
and he was fascinated by it. So we just had an instant friendship, and we would talk about it and just talk about stories and things that maybe we had done before, and he wanted to go gambling and things like that. So I think it cemented our friendship and our relationship, and that's why we hung out together and why we were gambling together. And why
I used to beg him to let me go with him, you know, and he had like, you know, he's the WBG, and like I remember saying to him, like, you're like, how can I get to be your sidekick? Because he always seemed, you know, he's a nice guy and he's fun to hang out with, and he's a people person.
That almost flips the dynamic in my head. I mean, I guess it does flip the dynamic. I think of I would have thought WBG would have wanted to hang out with Vegas Matt, just based on the show, the Daily Show, and Vegas Matt being the star of it. But that's pretty interesting, that probably before the video started at all, I imagine they met before that. And it was Matt chasing WBG.
Talking about you like you're not here. I know you love that. And so he would have, you know, these various people that would go with him all the time. And like, I always wanted to go more because it was just so fun. Because, I mean, not that he won every time, but he certainly didn't lose as much as most people that I had met. And I just learned so much about like a game like Harley Davidson that they don't have anymore.
Sure.
Like that one was something, if I remember. We used to play that a lot.
I mean, that was just one with an actual progression, right?
Yeah.
You would play, and they were free game meters, and the longer you played, the higher they would get, and they weren't guaranteed to hit, but there was a point where what you would expect to pay to hit one of the progressives, like let's say the minor jackpot, was you knew it was within a certain range. So if there were 50 games, and it would cost you X amount of dollars to hit it, but you knew that the 50 games would pay more than that, you would play it until you hit it. Now, it doesn't mean you were guaranteed to win that day, but if you did that over and over and over, you're just going to print money.
Do you remember the first machine that you...
And that's exactly what I was talking about. They do look for progressives and things like that look better than a fresh game. And they also... I mean, I think this is 50-50, and they might be a little bit joking, but the data seems to say this is true, but they also play brand new games, because brand new games occasionally seem to pay pretty well.
Ever showed me
First slot machine?
for the first slot machine that, you know, that there was something that I should look for?
Plants vs.
Plants
Zombies?
versus Zombies. Yeah, there was a Plants versus Zombies, and there was a brain meter, and I can't remember.
Oh, I remember that game.
But if the brain meter was like over a certain amount, like we'd be walking through the casino, and we would like walk to like 20 casinos in a day, and good cardio. And then we'd see a Plants versus Zombies, and we'd like, whoa, the brain meter. And I was like so proud of myself the first time I found something good, and we'd come up,
Yeah.
boom, and then win. They don't have that game anymore, though.
No, it's. I mean, it probably probably exists someplace, but like everything, those games
They
come
go
and go.
away.
Yeah,
It's
if
just
the
'cause
games
they-
are beatable, they done to
Well, it's not just that they're beatable. I just think they have a life cycle. That's like one of the things when you talked about Dragon. Like one of the reasons I gave it a high ranking is because it's been around since like 2014, and it's still very, very popular. So yeah, I mean, you have to respect the fact that a game could be around for 11 years and still be one of the biggest games to drive coin in.
Have you made most of your money that you've made in your life from gambling?
Yes.
From exploits?
No, I mean, I was a professional poker player for a while.
So it's from professional poker?
Yeah, and so I was a professional poker player, and I was involved in poker right before. What's so funny?
I'm just looking over at him and he's just
No, that's
smiling like he knows
No,
something.
It's like Senator Rowe. Well,
So before the poker boom, like I was fortunate, like just coincidentally, I picked up poker before the poker boom. So when the poker boom happened, I was in a fortuitous position and I was able to take advantage of it. I got involved in affiliate marketing with poker.
when are you going to write a book, WBG? I would love to read that book when you retire. When you
write the books.
you'd get mad at me for everything I said.
No.
You're like, you don't talk about that.
So, so I played poker. I played a lot of tournament poker back before everybody.
The privacy on these guys is pretty interesting. I've always found it interesting. Very quiet about details of their lives, which I guess makes sense because they bet a lot of money, implying they have a lot of money. And I guess if you have a lot of money, you kind of want to keep it somewhat private, unless you also want to start carrying around security with you, which I can't imagine anyone really wants to do that.
But he learned how to play on the internet. So
It's just fun to watch him, like, just betting sports, because like I'll be like, I like the blue team, or whatever, or like, oh, Ohio, and then he just won't casually like make a bet, even if like we're at a game, and he's like, well, let me take a look, and he looks at like 17 books and sees what's going on. And it's just like a level of intelligence and patience that I couldn't do if someone paid me all the money in the world, but then he'll go and he'll bet on the Eagles anyway.
I think it's just
disaster.
Nah, go Birds. I think it's just a matter of just kind of looking at life in terms of EV, right? Sure, the gas across the street might be 1 cent less, so I'm going to get 10 gallons. Is it worth 10 cents to cross the street? Probably not. Is it worth it to make a phone call to save $150 on your insurance? Probably, right? It takes you 10 minutes, right? It's hard to find opportunities that are worth $900 an hour. So you just try and think in terms of EV and apply it to everything else.
There's so much, let me tell you. It's fair. WBG is a wealth of information if you can get it out of him. He knows everything about gambling. I think I'd like to create like a gambler's trivia thing sometime and have all these people that think they know, and then like Jeopardy, and then
That would be good.
and
That
I
would
would
be
back
good.
WBG to be the guy that ends up, on the show for like 100 days straight.
I wouldn't win, but I tell you what, I've been because of my gambling history, career, whatever you want to call it. I've been fortunate to meet some of the most brilliant minds in gambling. So I've tried to learn from them.
A lightly misleading title there, how people actually beat the casinos. But yeah, look for lack of a better word, look for the exploits, basically, right? Just look for where you can win, believe it or not. Small edge. And EV, what is like EV definition? Is there another definition for EV? Expected value, a term used in statistics and gambling to describe the long-term average outcome of an action. That is what we are looking for, expected value. Okay.